So Russell Wilson has been named the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers over Justin Fields. I think this was to be expected. I was expecting it to be Russell Wilson. When Drew and I did our quarterback rankings, we ranked Russell Wilson, not Fields. So yeah, we assumed that Russ was going to be the guy there. It still is an interesting choice, though, and it's interesting that it took them so long. I think there are legitimate doubts right now about Russell Wilson's NFL future, and I think there are also legitimate doubts about Justin Fields. Fields, to his credit, he becomes one of the better backup quarterbacks in the NFL. I would probably say the only backup that I'd rather have than Justin Fields is probably Jimmy G, because we've seen him literally play in a Super Bowl, and maybe Mac Jones, because the potential, and I do like Mac Jones a lot. So I would say Fields is a top 3 or 4 backup. I like Carson Wentz a lot as a backup too, but I think Fields is right there. He's one of those top 3 or 4 backup quarterbacks in the league. But that doesn't really mean a whole lot. Russ, to his credit, I still think he's one of the 20 best quarterbacks in the NFL. And maybe I'm naive. I have him at 14. Ahead of Baker Mayfield and below Trevor Lawrence. Is that insane for me to? I think he's better than. Here's the list of quarterbacks that I think Russell Wilson is better than. Baker, who I think you could debate. Geno on the Seahawks, who I think there's a debate. Aaron Rodgers, who again, you can debate that. I think Rodgers off an ACL, not as good as Russ. Kyler Murray, I think Russ is better. Brock Purdy, controversial maybe. I haven't seen enough from Brock Purdy. I think he's better than Daniel Jones. I think he is better than, this is going to be controversial, Jordan Love, who, again, Jordan Love, great in the last 2 months of the season, awful in the first 2 months of the season. I need Jordan Love to prove to me that he is the guy he was in the second half and not the guy he was for the entire beginning of his career. Gardner Minshew, I think Russ is better. And the rest of these we agree on. Deshaun, nobody thinks Deshaun, sure, maybe. And of course he's better than Sam Darnold. He's better than Brissett. He's better than Bryce Young. He's better than Will Levis. He's better than, I think, until he proves it, I think he's better than Anthony Richardson. So that's about half the league's quarterbacks Russell Wilson is better than. He is an average quarterback, but he's not a bad starting quarterback. And I think that as an average quarterback for an average team, I think they're a 9-8 team. Last year they won 10. They always have a winning record every single year. Mike Tomlin has not had a losing record yet, and I wouldn't expect it. Every year, people try to predict, this is the year the Steelers are going to finish below 500. I'll believe it when I see it. I'm saying 9-8. I don't think they're a playoff team. I think they're a 9-8 team. I think Russ has a decent season. Look, last year at the time of his benching, he was 5th in touchdown passes. He was top 5 in passer rating. He was 1st in touchdown to interception ratio. He had a good season last year statistically. He just wasn't winning. And a huge part of that was because Denver had a terrible defense and a terrible offensive line and nobody good at the skill positions. Their receiving core was Tim Patrick, injured, Cortland Sutton, always injured, Jerry Jeudy, who was a bust, and Marvin Mims Jr. as a rookie. Their running back core was Jaleel McLaughlin, Samaj P. Ryan, Javonte Williams. None of those guys are great. Adam Troutman and Greg Dulcich at tight end. That was a bad offense with a bad O-line and a bad D-line, and Sean Payton coming after not coaching for the past 2 seasons. Russell Wilson was in a division where he had to play against the Chiefs. Russell Wilson was in a failing circumstance. It was a very difficult AFC, a difficult West, with a bad supporting cast around him. I think he has a better supporting cast in Pittsburgh, so I think we're going to see Russell Wilson do what he has not done since 2020, which is crazy. I think Russell Wilson will have a winning record. He had a losing record in 2021 with Seattle, and then back-to-back losing seasons in Denver. So he's had 3 straight losing seasons. I think he gets back to a winning season. 9-8 is my official prediction for the Steelers.